Hello. We're going to be doing some ticker analysis on a few tickers that the Discord has recommended. If you would like to join the Discord, guys, join now. Okay, before January 1st, we have free lifetime memberships. You're going to be able to enter into the Discord for free. You will never have to pay another dime again. Okay, after January 1st, it's going to be turned into a paid service. Okay, so all that being said, I just want to start the video. This is not financial advice. This is just my best interpretation of what I'm seeing, right? This is my opinion of these tickers, right? And that's it. There's no real, I have no real degrees. I'm not an advisor. I'm not a real analyst, guys, okay? I'm some average dude that makes YouTube videos that likes to hear the sound of his voice, okay? That being said, let's continue here, okay? So first one, somebody recommended they want to see Riot, okay? And basically, we're just trying to see what's next. That's it, okay? So we want to start off by reading the volume always, guys. First off, we can see these nice spikes here. Okay, nice spikes in volume. We got a few. Okay, so we're just gonna break down. This is how I do ticker analysis. Okay, we've got right here. This is a pretty good. I'd say that's a that's a break. That's some kind of break, some kind of maybe wall in this area here, right? I'd say if we break this candle, that's fairly significant, right? Something happened here, maybe change in value. So we know that, and look at that. Look at that. We actually refused to break this candle until recently. So that's a good sign here. Okay, we're gonna call this a wall. Okay, this is a wall here on this candle here. Now the only reason why I'm saying that is because once we had this crazy volume on this day, we actually been down since then. Okay, so although the candle looks nice and bullish and yada yada, there was probably a lot of absorption there, or sellers or buyers got exhausted, right? So we're gonna call that a wall. Okay, let's look. Obviously at bottoms you want to be looking for capitulation. So essentially what that means is shorts that were anywhere shorting, around this area here. You want to see these shorts taking the money, taking the profit. And how do we see that? Essentially we want to be seeing volume follow through and go increase. If follow through on the pivot, right, it should be increasing through the pivot. And sometimes it's not going to be cookie cutter. There's some examples where it is cookie cutter. Right, if we actually look at Tesla, I want to show you. If we actually look at Tesla, this is an example of capitulation. We have a pivot, and volume is following through. You see, that's a perfect example of capitulation. I would take this trade 9 times out of 10. Right, if you see volume following through a pivot like this, this is our best indication that this is some kind of bottom. And all that capitulation really is sellers are taking the money and going long. Or if we see capitulation on the upside, right, buyers are taking the money and possibly going short, right? That's what capitulation is going to mean. But let's go back to Riot here. Okay, so we have a nice wall here. Okay, in fact, we can actually just turn this around so it's like this. Okay, and we've got to some degree capitulation here, right? To some degree we have it. Okay, and the volume here, it's not exactly cookie cutter, but volume, if you can't really tell the volume, it helps to have a average, like a moving average volume like this, or average volumes. The volume was increasing through the pivot, it was following through for the most part, right? It doesn't have to be cookie cutter. The more cookie cutter there is, the stronger it's gonna be. So in this sense, it wasn't exactly cookie cutter, so that's good. More or less, guys, look, we overall volume is following through. Overall, you can see that how we have a increase in volume overall. Okay, volume comes in and it turns the thing around overall. So maybe on a higher time frame we have capitulation as well. Okay, so what you want to see after capitulation, because capitulation is a change in bias. Okay, it's no longer, it's a pivot. It's what it is. Okay, so this is no longer shorts. right? Or essentially, capitulation is in the short term a change in bias, because long term we don't know, shorts could re-enter, but short term is a change in bias, and I don't see anything that is saying otherwise right now, right? We're not seeing longs capitulating yet and wanting to go short. We don't see that yet, so still we know that. So for now we can look for exhaustion. Okay, after we see capitulation, we want to see exhaustion. Okay, and basically what exhaustion means is you see force, right? And this not exactly as much force we would like, but we can see some force here. That's a pretty good amount of force, that volume right there, right? We see force, and then we should see a die down of force, okay? Force should actually be slowing down, okay? Slowing down. So possibly we could still get some more volume coming in, but more or less we're going to see a die down and maybe possibly retest this white line after we get some more volume coming into the upside. Okay, so remember, you see capitulation. After capitulation, you see exhaustion. After exhaustion, you want to see capitulation, right? And in between those, right, you're always going to have walls, right? So that's an example of a wall here that got bought up, and whenever you see these walls get bought up, you should see them get squeezed out. Okay, here's an example of this wall getting squeezed out. Okay, and why do we see that? I mean, look at the increase of volume here, and look at the nice bullish candle, guys. That's a pretty good indication, especially after we have this wall here, this high. Look, the body of the candle treated just like support, okay, and we flew right past it. So these walls and using the volume like this is going to be key indicators how we're going to see support and resistance, etc. Because I'm more or less not looking left. That's the whole reason of wanting to use volume and price, so you see it now, what's happening now, right? I want to know what's going on now. I don't want to have to look at the whole history of forever and know what's going to happen. A lot of times fair value is always changing, right? So a lot of times you're going to have different things happen. Maybe an earnings report that's going to change the trajectory of the stock. Now, that doesn't mean technicals aren't going to matter anymore. It just means that, they're going to be less important moving forward. So we can see that, right? That's why more or less volume in reading it, learning how to read the volume is going to tell you what's happening now. But I'm going to try and finish up with this ticker. We got a few more. But yeah, we've got a barrier here that, and actually what happens was shorts added. Look, okay, these shorts added. Okay, these shorts that were here on this one actually added when we came up here. As you can see that they add in this whole zone here. Okay, so when we squeeze out these shorts, that's excellent, right? That tells us a lot. So where essentially we're going? So we know this now. We know we saw capitulation. We know now that we're seeing exhaustion. We know we're possibly going to retest this white line, etc., etc. Where are we going to aim for? Well, if we look on a higher time frame, look, we actually have exhaustion here as well. And guys, exhaustion is defensive. You have to understand. So really, we should not be breaking the lows of this candle or the lows of this exhaustion move here. We shouldn't be breaking lows. Now that's shouldn't, right? We should not. In the event that we do, we want to see buyers adding. We don't want to see buyers getting flushed out. In this case here, right, buyers added. You can see here, we saw capitulation for shorts where previously we saw exhaustion, okay? So if we're trying to look for price targets, essentially we're going to need some technical analysis for the most part, or we're just going to have to wait. Simple as that. Wait for the volume to come in to show us capitulation. Simple as that. But if we're just wanting to look at previous and look left and see price targets and all that, we're going to have to see. So before, shorts entered in here, we got exhaustion. So if we see exhaustion and capitulation, we can at least guarantee a new high. Okay, at least guarantee that. So I would like to say that. I'd like to say we could possibly target these highs. Right, we come back down and retest and get somewhere in this area here, possibly take the new highs, right? So this is going to be my prediction. Then we come back into here on Riot. Okay, and that's it. That's fairly simple here, guys. As you can see, that's how you read the volume. And let's talk about why this is exhaustion. Before I move on, be like, what is exhaustion? We talk about capitulation. We know what a wall is, right? We can see that with the volume. What's exhaustion? Well, to move something, it takes force, and when that force dies, essentially the path of least resistance is going to be in the opposite way, right? So we can see that. We see force dies, path of least resistance is to the bottom. And essentially, that's how the market works. The market works with paths of least resistance. You can see a wall comes in, there's a lot of resistance here, path of least resistance is to the downside. Then possibly see some capitulation to the most part. As you can see some increase of volume here throughout this tiny pivot. There's capitulation for these shorts, and the path of least resistance is to the upside. Okay, that's how the market works. So same thing with exhaustion. We see force, which is pushing the market up. Then once that force ends, path of least resistance is to the downside. Okay, that's all that exhaustion is. Exhaustion is the ending of force. Okay, so whenever you see volume like this is why this is exhaustion, because you see volume pushing it up. We don't see capitulation. That's what exhaustion is. Okay, if we were to see capitulation, what would actually happen is the volume would actually be increasing throughout the entire pivot. You see how I have this volume increase through the whole pivot here? It's not doing that. In sense, we get a drop off. See how volume drops off and dies down? That's a sign of exhaustion. So we have exhaustion here, and we can almost kind of make in a sense we're gonna pass these highs, because if we see exhaustion, we see defense of these lows here, and we know that we're being defensive, because otherwise if these shorts would have flushed out, right, or these longs here would have flushed out, we would have seen definitely some volume come in to flush them out. But when the volume comes in, we're actually pushing the price higher, right? So there's defense here of these lows. We can predict that we're going to reach the highs again. Okay, very simple, very easy. Let's go to the next one here. EVGO. Okay, we know for a fact, just by looking at the volume, guys, that's a wall. Very, very simple. That's a wall. Okay. Okay, and we know that this is going to be an area where shorts might re-enter, right? But let's continue looking at it. Hold on now. There wasn't exactly capitulation here, okay? Not cookie cutter. Remember, this is actually more or less some kind of exhaustion, but it's possible we could have some capitulation because the volume is overall increasing throughout the pivot. So I'm actually going to change my thesis. I'm actually going to say this is some capitulation here, because more or less if this was exhaustion, we probably would have seen it not break the lows of this move here, right? We tried, but it failed. So I would say that's more or less capitulation there. Okay, but let's look more recent. I know that's actually more far back, but we'll say that's a target in case we're looking for longs. Okay, let's keep looking here. We know we do have a wall here to get squeezed out. If we do see some squeeze, we can see some squeeze there. Possible, right? Wall. Okay, what's next? Yeah, we can see capitulation here. So shorts are definitely getting out now. Okay, shorts are getting out now. That's fantastic. We can see the increase of volume throughout the pivot here. Okay, that's perfect. Okay, so what do we want to see next? Well, look at that. We actually have even more follow through of volume here, even more capitulation. And guys, just like exhaustion, capitulation is also defensive, right? So in the sense that we come back down to here, we do not want to see these lows get taken. And if we do see them get taken, we want to see buyers add. Okay, essentially it should be too cheap, which is why they're capitulating, right? Which is why they're getting out of their positions, because otherwise right? Oop, hold on here. Let me open back my thing. Otherwise, if they were not capitulating, right? Or why would they not? Why would they capitulate if they're expecting price to continue lower? That's the whole reason behind capitulation, right? So if we do see prices come back into these levels, these lows, essentially what's going to happen is we need to see defense. It needs to be defensive. Buyers are going to add, right? You can verify that with rejections of the candlesticks, wicks. You'll see volume coming in, right? Essentially, that's not happening right now. We're not seeing the move down and seeing defense, right? Essentially, we're just seeing capitulation. So I'd probably target this wall up here to be squeezed out. Otherwise, I don't really see any other significant wall. I mean, this one is kind of significant, but we're already seeing capitulation here to push through this high. So I'd say that one's not significant. I'd probably target this wall here, and if this one breaks, go for the next one. So prediction, most definitely probably gonna hit that one. Maybe come back down, retest, and try and get back through there. Okay. So guys, yeah, learn how to read the volume. This is simple stuff, right? I mean, if you learn to see it like this, the market's not lying to you. Why would it lie to you? That's what I'm saying. Some people think the markets are really manipulated. Now, although if you do have big money in the stock market, you're going to be able to manipulate the market. That's self-explanatory, right? If you have money to move the market, you can very easily determine if something's going to be profitable. Like, let's say you have this wall here, right? If you're going to be able to move the market, you want to determine if it's going to be profitable to take out this wall of sellers, because all you would have to do is essentially push the market up to this wall, and essentially then the sellers are going to squeeze out themselves. You would make the money, you would make the profit, right? So it takes money to make money. That's how the market can be manipulated. But more or less, people have other antennas about why manipulation is happening. More or less, guys, you can read the volume. The volume's not going to lie to you, right? Although people have arguments about dark pools and stuff like that, guys, the volume's not going to lie to you. I've made plenty of money with the volume. The volume's real. The volume works. It's not like some fairy tale fantasy, okay? So that's EVGO. Let's see any other tickers. Anybody else? Lscc. This is probably our last one here. Very good. So I'd say this is a mix. This one is a wall, as well as barely capitulation. I mean, this is like a very not cookie cutter capitulation, right, guys? And understand, capitulation is just profit taking and a shift in bias, right? Because if you're taking profit, what are you doing? You're shifting your bias, right? So that's essentially what I mean. And maybe not, right? Maybe if you're taking profit, it doesn't mean you're shifting your bias, but you're essentially you're thinking that it's over to a sense, right? It might not be completely over, but you think it's a good time to take the money. Let's look here. So this is a wall, some capitulation. This, my friends, is excellent capitulation. This is excellent. This is telling me a lot. This is essentially, and now this is not financial advice, right? Don't go out and start full porting into Lscc, but this says a lot. This definitely tells me we're gonna fill this here, break the gap. But to where, right? To where are we gonna go? Yeah, I mean it's possible we could target these highs. That's possible. I'd say that's more realistic. We would have to see more capitulation for these shorts over here to see anything else, right? But more or less, we could probably target these highs. I think that's fair. So I'd say my prediction, we push through this gap, possibly retest, and head for the highs, right? I think that's pretty feasible. Very good. So yeah, guys, and if you're wondering why this is capitulation here, okay, look, the lower we get, right, shorts are essentially wanting to take profit. You have to understand. Shorts don't want to take profit when prices are too high. They want to take profit when prices are low, right? So as we come down, shorts now saying this is a good time to take the money. Boom, they start taking money. It's enough money that moves the market, and they're taking more money. They're taking more money. As you can see, we actually gapped up. Look here. This red candle is actually the start of the day. The start of the day was higher than this close of the day. So we gapped up, guys. So they're taking the money. And as again, taking the money. So shorts are capitulating. Why are they capitulating here? You have to understand. Well, because we're probably going to break this high here and probably going to fill the majority of this gap. You have to understand. So, and who is capitulating? What shorts? Probably these shorts. You have to understand. If capitulation is this much, right? Because that's a pretty good amount. If capitulation is this much, it's probably going to be some of these shorts in here. All right, so these shorts in here are expecting to at least go back to break even. You have to understand. That's the whole notion behind it. These shorts are expecting to go back to break even, right? Because if it was just going to come back into maybe this zone, why would they not add to their position? Right? It's just a pullback. They don't want to start taking profit. Maybe they might take some money, but to this degree of capitulation, they're not going to start really getting out of their positions and really making a difference in the price of the stock like this. Right? They're making a difference here. That's what capitulation means. They are making a difference in the price. Their bias is shifting. They're taking the profit. Right? So I say these shorts. So yeah, I would agree that it's possible we can go back to these levels up here. Okay. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please. Excuse me, I'm a little tired here. I've been working all Sunday, right? Cleaning around the house, stuff like that. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, like and subscribe. Also, join the Discord. I can't stress it enough, guys. It's only gonna be free for the rest of this year. Join the freaking Discord. Okay, if you're watching this video and you're not part of the Discord, just join. It's free. What do you have to lose? Right? You're going to learn more about volume. We have all kinds of channels in there. One for crypto. If you like NFTs, NFT, Forex, futures, stocks, options, guys, everything you like, you can join in there. And guys, other people are doing other kinds of trading other than me. Right? I use volume price analysis. Some people use Fibonacci. Some people use volume profile. Some people use all kinds of stuff, right? But this is the way I trade. And if you like to learn more about it, guys, I'm always posting about it in the Discord. Okay, so check out the Discord. Join. It's going to be free right now. Tell all your friends it's going to be free. Hop in the Discord, guys. A lot of learning to be had, okay? Peace out. Like and subscribe. Also, comment if you want to see analysis on your favorite tickers. I would love to do some analysis on it. Okay, guys? Cheers.